Okay. Hello everyone. So today I'm going to showcase you PSVR version of Bound. I will, instead of just playing, I will concentrate more on some technical stuff and like mostly tell about why we have decided to make some things in this way and not another. Okay, so let's start from the point when where I've finished the last broadcast. Oh, okay. So update has erased my my previous save, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's actually a good point to start. So we are starting the game like regularly, but what you can see now is that the cutscenes are completely different than in 2D mode, and some of them can be like absolutely different in terms, like some cutscenes can in 2D mode can have like 5 cuts, and in VR they will have just 1 cut, positioning player in one place, so you will be able to look around. Okay, I will get back to cutscenes in a moment. When we start a game, it's the moment when everyone like watches around and tries to see who's like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's nice. So as a developer, we need to take care of that and not place important things in the very beginning, so to have like a soft launch into the game. And the other thing is like the tutorial, where a player is asked to do something with the controller, and when for example it's like use right stick to control the camera, so if player doesn't know the controller well, he would try to like get off like take the helmet off from his head or just look at the controller, and normally in the first playtest there was no controller, so it was like really bad experience. So we've added a controller, but the controller will be probably visible in most of PSVR games. So it's actually you can push the buttons and you can see like everything's working fine. But when you move the right stick, then you can control the camera. And what we've decided to do in Bound is to have this static camera where you can look around, but you can place it anywhere around the character. So you can rotate it left and right, move it closer or a little bit in a distance. On the beach scene, the distance where you can move it closer or like far is not so far because of collision reasons. But in Unreal World, it's like completely different. And let's go into Unreal World. So right now we'll have another cutscene in Unreal World, and based on that I will like show the problems of making games in VR, which probably if we would want to see a AAA game, maybe I will pause for a second. If we would like to see like Uncharted in VR, probably the budget would be, I don't know, maybe twice as big as normally, because when we are making cutscenes, the user can look around, and when we have like 2 characters talking to each other, so let's see what will happen. So we have this character, but we can still look around and see the princess. So actually she needs to be, and the queen also, they need to be animated all the time, so there will be no like pauses in the characters, because if there will be pauses, then everything will look like a play in the kindergarten. Like the character A says blah blah blah, and character B waits for him to say that, and then talks his part. So basically, it would be very, very artificial and bad. So for VR games, the motion capture sessions should capture both actors. So probably it. In Uncharted, actually, it's done this way, but I think that's not for every scene. And in VR, like every scene with like NPC should be treated for both characters. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the camera. As you can see, like the character when she goes away, and when she's like very, very, very small. I don't know if it's... Oh, okay, so the camera will snap by itself. But we can move the camera everywhere we can. For example, here. We can move it inside the wall, and then we'll see the character all the time. So she won't be covered by anything. We can see her from every direction. When we look up, then we can see her from the bottom. When we look down, then the camera move up. So right now we can put the camera anywhere we would like. Okay. So let's move to the another section. Even if the camera is static, we can actually try to play fast. As you can see now, it's not a big problem. Yes? Okay. Okay, so there is a question. Thanks, John, for passing me the questions, because currently I can see the chat window in VR broadcast, but probably this is something that it's going to be implemented. So the game is rendering at 60, but there is like a reprojection algorithm in PS4 that reprojects it to 120, and it's really, really great, because as you can see, it's like when I move around my head, then everything is super, super fast, and we're not skipping like any single frame, because we were like passed through TRC, and they looked at every moment of the game. So we've got at every point 60 transformed to 120. Okay, so basically you will probably ask when we can see the 60 frames per second, like when we can see the difference between 60 and 120. So the tip is on the character. If we will move the character fast, it's probably not in this scene, but on the ribbon parts, then we will see a little bit of ghosting around her head, especially the helmet. And this is the 60, and it's impossible to do anything about that. Also, when you will be close to the hazards like the trees or the voids, then if you will look closely, then you will also see C60 over on those objects. But still, when you will look around with your head, then everything will be super, super smooth. And as you can see, like in VR, it's easier to see things like this monster going over there, so you can be more aware of the environment, and you can look around for example, the shadow up. and this is a good thing. But still, we've managed like to use the cameras from the 2D version. So right now the camera has changed, and we are changing this camera mostly to change the lighting over here. So the levels will look more bright. Yes. Yes, that's a good question. Like, the question is why the camera is static. So it's all because of motion sickness. So basically, we were trying to do a couple of cameras because we had the Morpheus prototype from the very beginning. Actually, Santa Monica has sent us their own kit, because they knew that we were like experimenting with VR in Datura, and so we've got the project from the very beginning, and we tested a lot of cameras. And the thing is that whenever you use acceleration, then you will get a motion sickness, and it's like it works exactly like in real world. So for example, maybe I will talk and move. So, for example, if we're flying in airplane, then we can only feel the acceleration on our body when the plane launches and during landing. So during start and land. And while in the air, especially on long distance flights, we can move around the airplane without feeling like the velocity of the plane. We can feel the turbulence of the plane, and we can feel the gravity. But the gravity up there, like 10 kilometers in the sky, it's almost the same as on the surface. It's like also on the space station. It's like the gravity on the space station is almost the same as on the surface. But actually you can't feel the velocity. And also when you think about the planet, when we are like rotating around the sun is rotating around other the solar systems and galaxies. So we don't know actually what's the speed, like what the velocity is. But we can change the difference, like the velocity when it changes. And when we have this static camera, there is no single moment when the velocity changes, because it's zero. And so basically the moment of snap is changing the position from one place to another without any change of the velocity of the acceleration. And because of that, there is no motion sickness. Another thing that we do to remove the jarringness of changing the camera is this small, very small, like 20 milliseconds of fade to black. And the thing is that when the very important thing about changing the camera is that of the prediction, because I change the camera, I move the stick, so I know what will happen when I move the stick, and because of that I predict that something will happen, and it's easier for my brain, and this very small blink removes the jarringness. But when we have the cutscenes or the cuts that are not controlled by us, we are making the fade out, like the black fade out, a little bit longer, like 100 milliseconds, because it's not controlled by us. And everything that it's not controlled by us, it's jarring in VR and can cause motion sickness. And right now I will show you that changing this camera very fast will not affect at all like how I feel. It's like you can do it very fast, and it's not bad. But on the outside, probably when you're looking on the stream, I don't know how it will behave, if the stream will explode or something, but from the outside it looks really weird and awkward, and actually it's very non-intuitive. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the question is if photo mode filters can be used in VR. Yes, but let me check how it will act in broadcast, because right now when for example, oh, this is a nice view, I can see a nice view, I will push the photo mode filter and I will go to the cinema mode like the normal OS, and we'll be able to make a picture like in 2D mode. Okay, so let's try it to do, but I don't know how the broadcast will behave. Okay, entering photo mode. We'll switch you to 2D mode. You will automatically return to VR mode after leaving photo mode. Okay, oh, I see. Right now I can see there's like almost 600 people like watching the stream, and there's a lot of comments. Hello, everyone. So this is like the 2D mode in VR, and we can still make adjustments to the camera. We can add a lot of filters, add frames, like everything works. I can tease a little bit that we're in the next update we'll make like really great filters, like great ones, like completely different than those simple color filters. It will be like filters that will entirely change the look of the game, and they're pretty cool, so it's worth the wait. And okay, so I've made a picture. Okay, screenshot. And let's go back. So how was the stream? Okay. All right. So you can still make the photos in VR, and it was like a very important thing, because a lot of people loves our photo mode, and it would be very bad to cut it out for VR. So I think that the current solution is the best way to handle it, because first, there is no format for cube photos. So there are cube maps and so on, but these are like a very technical images. They are not like a customer images like JPEG, PNG, GIF, or anything like that. It's like DDS or GNM. It's like probably you haven't heard about those formats, but I'm sure that in time this format will arrive and will like solve everyone's problem with taking pictures in VR, because in VR like a picture is a sphere with all the surroundings, and also it needs to be a 3D sphere. So it's very like it's a hard topic, because it needs to be 3D in every point that you are looking at, and it matters if you will like change every angle that you are looking at. So this is something that probably it will be solved in the future, but we'll see. There needs to be like some kind of commission, like with JPEG, that will just handle it for the whole world. Okay, so okay. Okay. Of course. So my name is Michael Staniszewski, and I'm creative director from Plastic. And we are right now we are showing Bound. This is a game that was released on 16th of August on PS4. But in 2 days you will be able to play it in VR, like I'm doing right now. The patch is already dispatched, so you're already updated if you have the game. The update is free, and I'm showcasing the VR stuff right now, which I'm really happy about, because we have some nice tricks to show, especially that it's like a 3D platformer, which is a rare thing on VR. But check this out, this moment. It's the place in the game, if you haven't played it, that shows like a first-person perspective view. It's a part of the game where you are like investigating memories of our main character. but how it looks in VR, because in VR first-person movement is a nightmare. It's really hard to do it without any nausea effect, and in our game it's like completely nausea-free. And let's see how we do it. We are doing it in a very old-school way, like in the games like Dungeon Master, Eye of Beholder, Ishar, and so on. So we are moving in the tiny steps using the same blinks as in a third-person perspective view. But we are also rotating in those blinks, and we are using 45 degrees rotations, not 90, because with 90 degrees rotations there would be a couple of places that will be hard to spot. And if we would do smaller degrees, then it would be taking too long to make a full rotation. So right now we can move really fast in this mode. Maybe not so fast like in Quake or Doom, but it's enough for exploration games, and it really doesn't cause any nausea. And I'm really sensitive. I must say that sensitivity in VR is something that you probably will be more and more sensitive when you will play more VR, especially those causing motion sickness. It's because nausea is the organism treats nausea as a poison, and that's why when you're like feeling bad, the brain tells you like to vomit, because he thinks that you ate something like a mushroom or something bad. So if you will like empty your stomach, then probably the effect will go away. But it won't. So in time the brain knows the feeling, like it's like in the back of your head, that the vision that you see and what your body feels like in terms of acceleration, it doesn't match. So you get more and more sensitive. And right now I'm so sensitive that I can feel the acceleration in a 2D cinema. So for example, when I see a fast trailer with the moving camera that like speeds up, for example like flying over the canyon or something, then it's really bad for me. And in this case it's like I can play it for like 6 hours, and it doesn't hurt so much. And also we've like removed the collision with the characters, because it's something that you actually, if you want, you can like I'm sitting right now, but you can stand and walk around, and there's no possible way that will remove those collisions. Of course we can like turn off the camera, like fade it to black right now, but it's something that doesn't work for us. And because our memories look a little bit abstract, then still we can play with those kind of effects, and you won't feel that it's like it's out of place or something. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Like the audio is like another big topic. So basically, what we are doing right now is we are using the 3D audio like in a traditional game. So it's a little bit a trade-off, because we were actually trying to do that, but it would require a lot of changes for us. It's like the same happens for with HDR, and so in the end. The 3D system here is like in the regular games, but it's still like so we decided to do it because it still works really good. If you have like the headphones that will completely cover your ears, then you're in the game, and it's like a little bit crazy because you can like cut off yourself and people will walk around you. They can steal your wallet and you won't notice. But so the biggest difference between like the 3D audio from the PSVR is that you can hear like up and down, because normally you can hear just left and right, and this is something that we didn't manage to do that. So sorry, but it's better to say that than to be sorry if someone will actually will notice that. But there are games already on PSVR that will support that. And as for like BRL audio, it's like another different topic, because you need to record the samples in a different way, and this is something also that we didn't do. So yeah. Okay. Okay, so the thing is, maybe I will. Okay, or maybe let's the cutscene pass. So the question was, it's like, what happens if you share your videos in VR? So there are two ways. Like the first one is the video that you can see now. It's probably low quality. You can see like the spherical, like the sphere around what's happening, and it's because we are sharing the video not from the PSVR box, but we are sharing video from the PS4. So that's why the what you can see, it's not going through the PSVR box. It means that the image is not undistorted. Okay, let me explain it a little bit. Normally, when you render to PSVR, you need to render left and right eye, and you render like a big sphere. The sphere looks a little bit like what you can see now on the stream. Then this image goes through the PSVR box and gets distorted to fit your lenses, like the helmet lenses. But you can also have the social screen on PSVR, and this also goes through the box. So social screen undistorts this image, and you can get like a better quality full screen image when going through the box. So if you would like to record the video, or you're like a YouTuber, Twitcher, then probably what you would like to do is to connect to the box and stream from the box instead of streaming from directly from PS4. And then you can add all your stuff that you like, so like your yourself on the camera, like all the add-ons that Twitch adds. So probably it will be better solution, like to just get the video from the box. And for those who just like the comfort of just the share button, this is the image that they will have. Okay. So let's move to another part. I personally, so the question is how VR will affect speedrunning. I personally believe that speedrunning in VR will be harder and like tougher, because you need to control the camera as well as the character. But the static camera and like the depth, like how you perceive the depth in VR is much better. So it's actually it's harder to fall, because you can see exactly where to jump. You can make like, oh, I wanted to show, but I got covered by the cubes. Anyway, it's like making precise jumps is easier, and the thing is that probably walking in memories will be faster in VR. I will tease a little bit that like a hardcore idea that we had. Probably Adam, who is our like a speedrunning designer, will hate me for this, but there is a chance when you switch from VR and not VR while speedrunning, it may take some advantage, because you can mix the things that are faster in VR and things that are like faster in 2D. So you can mix that by switching from 2D to PSVR. Okay, so another question is like the development of VR version, how difficult was it. So the first thing is that I must say that this is running on our own engine, and our team is very small, so it's like a pretty crazy thing. But we come from demo scene, and we had this engine from the very beginning, and this is something that we actually control it like 100%. So if something's like is slow, then we know exactly what and where. And I heard like from many Unity, Unreal developers that they're like got stuck because of something not working in this version and this version, and it gets fixed in time. But actually the thing is that if you can fix it by your own, then you have this advantage. So the biggest thing in VR, on PSVR and any VR, is the frame rate. So you need to do everything super fast, and that's why we've decided to make this world like super simple. But it actually right now on PS3, like the regular PS4, it's like utilizes like almost all of the console. It's not like that we are super genius programmers or something like that, but it's because it's like quite easy to get to this point when you're programming with your own engine. It's like you can make asynchronous like compute task which like utilize your like 100% of GPU. You can take a lot of CPU, and there's like a lot of sharing memory between CPU and GPU is super fast, and this is something that we mostly do in our game, so like swapping the memory between CPU and GPU. And that's why we have this advantage of the frame rate. So actually our game was fast for a long time. It was fast, and when we reached to VR version, we had actually to do 2 optimizations, and I will tell you a little bit about it. So the first optimization is it's called on PS4 it's called near wide rendering, and on PC it's called foveated rendering. So the thing is that you are rendering most of the resolution in the place where the lenses are the most sharper when you look. And on PSVR the lenses are sharpest in the center, so we are rendered there in like the max quality, so you can actually see the display. Like I don't want to say that, but there's like some PSVR games that you will see that they're a little bit blurry, and in terms of bound that we're reaching actually the display quality in the center. But if you will look on the edges of the display, then the image will get blurry, and it's because of the lenses. So in these places we don't need to render at the top quality. We've made like the comparison tests, and you can actually like render in a half resolution there, and you won't see the difference. So this was like the first optimization, and the second optimization is like the dynamic resolution. This is something that you can need to trace like your frame rate all the time, and you have like the high frame rate, so like 60 frames per second. So the tiny differences of frame rate, you can spot it very quickly and then react to it by changing some effects. For example, like changing the quality of shadows, or because the shadows are crucial in VR, or changing the quality of effects, or removing some of the effects, or in the end, this is like the last resort rescue situation, you just lower the resolution. So these two things were able to like cut our development time a lot. But the second thing that was really hard to do is the cutscenes. So we had to do all the cutscenes, like take care that in every moment you can see everywhere, and there are no characters that are standing still one frame. It's like stop frame. Another frame is that we had to clean up animation of the character. So we heard a lot about that our character looks great, the animation is perfect and so on, but still we haven't animated the fingers in the 2D version, and in VR version we had to do it just to see, like, because you can see these details when the character is like so close to you. Okay, so next thing is that we are back on the beach, and to the let's say like the real character, and we can see that the notepad in 2D version we were like looking like from the first person perspective on the notepad, so we could see hands, how they move and so on. But in VR we couldn't do it because we could see her head from inside, and this is something like on the beach that you don't want people to see. So our idea was to just move the camera outside and have the same notepad, and we can see right now that we are actually moving the same notepad, so there's a connection between us and the character. Okay, so which level to choose? I will choose the level when we are going upside down. So this is the thing that it's cool in VR. So this will be the paper planes. How the development team reacted to the development. Okay, so this is okay, so this is the question, like how the development team reacted to the VR. Some of us tells that like they don't want to make another VR game anymore, but this is probably a kind of being tired of things that you don't want to do. The programmers had a little bit problems because you need to take care of 2D version and VR version at the same time, but this is the case of our game, which is like PSVR compatible, so it's a hybrid. You can play it in 2D, you can play it in VR, so we need to take care of all those situations, and it's just like an extra, it's not like a kind of extra work, it's kind of extra management over your code framework that's like messes with your code, and this is something that programmers usually don't like. It's like two paths, but the thing is that when PS Pro will come in, like everyone will have the same problem because there will be HDR to handle, and HDR is in our case it's much harder than VR, because there will be games that won't be able to be ported in HDR like just like that.